What is up, all of my beautiful freaking people? Welcome back to another episode of FML Talk. Today is the day. It is the official questions episode of season 4. But it is going to look a little different this season because I am switching up the co-host that's doing this with me. Welcome to FML Talk.
Oh my god. Wait, how old was the other girl?
19. Can you believe that shit?
Hey, this is Gabrielle Stone.
Good book?
He did what? 48 hours?
What a dick.
Yeah, but have you seen all the photos on her Instagram?
And this is FML Talk.
Oh, no, she didn't.
Y'all know I love a good self-love cocktail and occasionally an actual cocktail. I have always notoriously hated the taste of alcohol and needed it disguised in a good mixology cocktail until I discovered Neft. Because Neft is a premium vodka in its purest form with non-GMO rye, it has a light taste full of character. Not only is Neft one of the best tasting vodkas I've ever had, it also comes in the cutest packaging I have ever seen. Their unbreakable barrel keeps it chilled for up to 6 hours, making it the perfect drink to take just about anywhere. Join me in adding a little actual cocktail into your self-love cocktail with Neft vodka. Cheers! Okay, so normally in the past couple seasons, I have done the questions episode with my former producer and really good friend, Jackie, but she has moved on to explore her own amazing art and do things that are really driving her passion forward. So I knew I needed a new co-host for my questions episode. And when thinking about who I was going to bring on to do this, I was like, well, what do all my FMLers always want to know about? And who do they always want to hear from? And who do they always ask me, why doesn't he just co-host with you all the time? So I decided to bring on Mr. Tyler Unicorn himself, my boyfriend, Tay. So let's jump into the episode. You don't really need an introduction.
Hey.
So what we're gonna do is the question episode, but with you.
Okay.
So you were full on panicking when I was writing these questions down.
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
You like to be prepared.
Yeah, I like to be a little prepared. I mean, unless it's like a legitimate rapid fire.
No, it's not a rapid fire. But I put up on my Instagram and was like, hey, we're going to do a questions episode for season 4, but Tay's going to co-host with me. Hit me with your questions. It was a surplus. It was a surplus amount of questions.
Oh, wow.
So I don't even know if we're going to get through all of them.
Okay.
But we're going to dig in. And normally when Jackie and I did these, we had like our little trusty bowl. But because you're here, we have our unicorn mug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, magic.
Magic.
But wait, let me just get some clarification here
Okay,
on these answers.
He needs the
Are
rules.
we trying? Yeah, what's the score? Are we trying to get through the questions? Do we want elaborate
No.
answers, one-worders?
It's whatever you feel called to do.
Okay.
No,
Cool.
No rules, no guidance.
Great.
You know, it's FML Talk. We just fucking go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Oh my God, I am not fucking playing with you.
Wow, you scared the shit out of me.
The first one I opened literally just says your sex life. Like that's not even a question.
One word answers here.
That's a topic that we apparently need to discuss.
Well,
Right? That's not even a question.
what? Okay, I mean,
People want to know about our sex life.
okay.
I'm just like waiting to see how you handle this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, Jesus.
Well,
Here.
we did season 4 opened with a episode of Brittany Bennett and I talking about a lot of sexual things.
Right.
There's a lot in there, but I kind of like tiptoed around my sex life with you, other than, you always put me first and you're not afraid of like my vibrators.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, some men are.
I don't find that. I know some men are, and I don't understand that. I'm like, look, can't we all just have fun?
Right.
It doesn't.
It's just one big
not,
party.
To me, it's not a machismo thing, or it's not this manly thing. If I can't be the person to do that, I don't know, whatever. Life's too short. Our sex life, to be honest, is extraordinary. We have. The most thing that I respect about our sex life is the fact that we communicate, and sometimes when it's just kind of not really happening, that's fine.
Yeah, like people get tired.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, this week or two, it's like, okay, no big deal. It's not like the world is crumbling and, oh my God, this relationship is over. For sure, she hates me. I hate her. It's up.
She hates my penis. Okay, I know what we're going to talk about.
Well, that's the soundbite right there. she hates my penis.
I know what we're going to talk about, and it's...
Well, I can tell you. Are you
instant
gonna talk,
fear.
Are you going to talk about a couple weeks ago?
No.
Oh,
no.
Because that
no. Well, what are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about Arrowhead.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's like the serious note. And that, of course, we get stuck on the first question for like 20 minutes. Yeah, the shower.
Oh my God, the shower.
Okay, so we're in the shower. We're having sex in like the normal I don't know if this is the normal way that people have sex in a shower, but like I was bent over. He was behind me anyways.
Guys, spoiler alert. This was the very last time we had
this was
sex.
Like a few days ago, like very recently. So we're in the shower. We're having sex. And the way that the shower was coming down on my head, it was like kind of all encompassing. I couldn't really hear anything. It was like very, like I was in like my own little like cave. And without getting too graphic, like he made like a noise and a movement where I thought it was about to happen. So like I pulled forward, and then I turned around and he was like, wait, what? And I was like, oh shit, I thought you went. And then you freaked out because Finnegan had poked his head into the shower and started licking your ass.
Listen. First of all, it wasn't my ass. Listen, that's your perspective. Let me give my side of the story.
Right, because I was under the shower vortex.
Everything's going great. I mean, it's a happy day, in the shower, and this starts happening, and everything's like wonderful, and all of a sudden, very kind of close towards the end, Finn, our dog, comes up to the shower curtain, moves the shower curtain with his head, and starts like licking my arm. And at that point, I'm like, dude, this sucks. And I couldn't get him away because things were just about to happen. And then I was like, all right, just let him lick. Let me finish. And then in the middle, I'm like, all right, that doesn't feel so bad. And then you hear me probably going, to the lick. And that's when you think I'm finishing. And then it all went to shit after that.
Okay, but then the best part of the story is that we stood in the shower talking about it and hysterically laughing for a solid 5 minutes.
Yeah. And to this, I mean, even this morning we were talking about it, laughing. I mean,
it needs to be a film and a scene in a film.
Yes, yeah. That I concur.
Okay, that's all we're going to do for the sex talk, guys. Jesus, get out of the gutter. All right, moving on. Next question. This is fun being on this side of the questions. I'm normally like panicking like you are, and Jackie's like reading questions to me. I like being on this side and being in control. Thank you very much. What is the key to happiness in a relationship? Just a light,
respect and communication.
Oh, it is a light, easy question.
Respect and communication. I mean, like I can't even go more than that. You could talk about it for hours, but if you don't deeply respect the person and you're not willing to completely communicate about everything, whether you want to or not, that's not going to work.
Yeah, I will second that, and I will piggyback on it by saying the willingness to, have a third party, go to therapy, the willingness to grow with your partner.
Right.
So I think those three things are the key. Those are the trifecta of key to happiness in a relationship.
Yeah, and let me piggyback on your piggyback.
We're going to make it a square.
Let's go get a train going.
Train, you, me, Finn. Jesus Christ, dude. Now we're talking about like animal sex. Jesus.
And say, listen, as we grow older, we change. Mm-hmm. Period, whether you're with a partner or not. So if your partner who you say you want to spend the rest of your life with and you love, if you're not willing, you love them for who they are right now, but you also have to love them for who they're going to be in the future and how they're going to change, because everybody changes. So you have to be willing and ready for that. It's not going to be you meet somebody at 21 and then they're going to look like this forever and they're going to act like this forever.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So you have to be willing to accept change.
Yes, accurate. On the physical side, you kind of have a leg up because you have a roadmap to what I'm going to look like when I'm 70.
True.
Like you just look at my mom, you're like, it'll be a taller version of that.
Right.
With probably longer hair.
Yeah. And you kind of have that a little bit with my dad.
No, I don't think you look like your dad.
What?
Not to that extent.
Not to the extent like you look. Yeah, you and your mom could
Carbon
be,
copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like twins.
Right. Twins. Yeah. Twins. Always a Friends reference. Okay. Next question. Date night in or out on the town? Well, let me tell you about Tay and I.
Oh, shit.
While we do really enjoy, the occasional getting dressed up, going out, having some good mixology cocktails and like a nice fancy dinner, my fucking love language is putting my head in his lap, having my head pet, and watching a good show and binging a show.
Yeah.
Like that is where I'm happiest in this planet.
Well, and don't forget the butt.
Yeah.
Oh
my God, you can't just say it like that and not elaborate and don't forget the butt.
Yeah.
No, I like when he pets and rubs my butt.
Yes, that is true. And I totally concur with that. I mean, what do we go out maybe once every other month? Maybe.
What? No. God, you make us sound like freaking hermits.
Well,
no,
I mean, there was a pandemic.
I would say
so
we go out once every other week. And that doesn't mean dressing up and fancy, but get together with friends.
Oh, yes.
Or dude.
You're right. Well, no, they said date night.
Okay. Oh, right.
Right. So
but we double date and that type of stuff.
All right, yeah.
Or go to a friend's house for dinner. Or something
I totally enjoy doing that, but I can't lie and be like, I like that more than staying home with you. And just that to me is the most romantic, the most fun, the most comfortable. And
we thrived in the pandemic, guys.
Yeah.
Everyone else was running around what the fuck are we going to do? And we were just how long can we stay here?
Well, I had kind of been doing it for a little while prior. I was in my own pandemic.
All right. Guys, I take a little bit of offense to this. Why are you not the co-host on every episode? Rude.
Oh, wow. Well, because I haven't been asked.
Oh, come on.
I'm joking.
No, I bring you on. You've been on once a season, first of all, and now you're going to do the question episodes with me, so maybe twice a season.
Yeah.
We're integrating.
And I mean, this is your thing, and I love being a part of it, and I love coming on, but the most of all, I love the fans that have your fans that are have taken a love for me. I mean, I think that's really cute. So awesome.
Tyler.
So the more I come on, the better, in my opinion. For me, it makes me feel happy, and also I'm getting my message out of the male's perspective in situations that you guys are talking about.
I think it's important for people to hear and see an example of what a good man looks like.
Yeah.
No pressure. Don't fuck up.
Well, also, maybe what a good man looks like, but also, I wasn't always the greatest.
How you became the good man.
Yeah, I wasn't always. I come from a very kind of checkered past of being good, and then what is good, but of being quote unquote good or bad. I've had very, very questionable behavior in my life. Mm-hmm. And I'm here to tell those stories.
Yeah.
And I'm not shy about it.
And be real about it.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Can Tay talk about heartbreak from a male perspective?
Yeah.
Devastating. Can you talk about how I crushed your soul?
Multiple times.
Rude.
It's facts. No, well, let me preface this with I'm the most sensitive man on the planet.
The most interesting man in the world.
Not very interesting, but very sensitive.
Yes.
I'm sure you've spoken about me and my crying fits during movies and stuff like that.
I don't know if I ever have, but it's very cute. He does this like pitter patter thing where like it's like
wow. So yeah, I'm pretty sensitive, and so I have to say this. My heartbreak is probably very much the same as, well, everyone else's. It's not a male or female thing. When your heart's broken, it's a human thing. So I don't really, sometimes like you'd get like my dad, not during our situation, but through some of the hundreds of breakups, that I've or my brother have gone through, and you hear him say, oh, it's going to be okay, and it's like, no, it's really not, because I really devote my heart to that person, and I really want it to work. And when it doesn't, it's a real crusher. With you, I went through things I had never gone through before. It was such a pain that I couldn't grasp, I couldn't comprehend. It really was devastating to not be able to see my future with you. It was just, I was lost. Although I had support in all the right places, and I had come to terms with it and then had moved on. One of the couple of times I know your readers know about, or it's in your book. And then I couldn't bury you. You know what I mean?
Do you think men typically, not necessarily you, but men typically, when they go through hurt or heartbreak, are more into the let's go out, let's party, let's like fuck some people, let's like forget about it?
Do I think it's a man thing to do that?
I mean, I think there's some women that do that.
Yeah.
I think it's the wrong thing to do.
I think you didn't.
I've done that in the past.
Yeah, you've done that in the past, and it
blows up in my face every fucking time. It does
every time. But boy, it feels good while you're doing it. Like at the very second.
Debatable.
I think that. I mean, I think I did some of that, and you're right. I was always like walking away, going, "Well, that was stupid," and that meant nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm not really a big one night stand type of person. I'm not even really that big of a let's fuck type of person. I'm more, after the first date, if I don't see my possibility of spending the rest of my life with that person, I probably won't date them.
Yeah, but you're
many more times.
Rare breed. I don't think that's a normal guy thing.
Well,
that's not a normal guy thing.
Okay. Well, what it is it's a nice person thing.
You're right.
Because I know that, in the past, sometimes I would continue on, and then they would get into a very tough situation, and I knew I was out.
Right.
And that's really not the greatest.
Yeah. But so bottom line is that it's not a male versus female thing. It's a human experience, and each human is different, so it's going to look different for everybody.
Yeah, totally. It's going to look different for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Dun, dun, dun.
What was Tate's perspective of all that went down when you asked for space all those times? Look at your poor face. You just look like you're about to cry right now. Babe, we're here. We're in our house. It's fine.
That,
you're such a method actor. You go right back to the emotion.
I know I do. It's interesting because my perspective obviously was inaccurate. I didn't know that when you were asking for space, I didn't know what you were doing.
Right.
So it was painless nonetheless. I mean, painful nonetheless. My perspective was, she just wasn't into it. You and I had such a deep connection, but it wasn't romantic for you. Well, the thing was missing, whatever that was, right. And so that was hard. But, that was the perspective that I was given and I had presented myself, I definitely was shocked when I realized what was really happening.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. But it also made more sense to me. And in the long run, I'm kind of glad it was going that way, because you wouldn't have realized and you wouldn't have come to your monuments.
Yeah. No, I mean, if I would have forced myself to stay in our initial relationship and not worked through all the shit that I ended up working through, like we would be in an entirely different place right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you were in control. I'm vividly remembering back in the beginning when we weren't making it a sexual, intimate thing at all. And that was difficult. That was difficult because I was like, oh my God, I want to be with you so bad. And that, not even sexually, just, yeah.
And here we are. All right, next question. What are your love languages? So they are, I mean, like, let's just talk about the love languages. They're physical touch, acts of service, right? Gifts. And then there's one more.
What is it?
I don't know.
Acts of service, out of what you just said, like I think I've been put on this planet to help or to do things for people. Like, for instance, when my mom died, I ran the house at the age of 13, cooking and cleaning and doing all those things. I'm really hands-on with my daughter when she's living with us, even with you. I'm always like trying to cater and do things for you, not out of duty, but out of love.
Yeah. So you think the way you show love is acts of service. What would you say the way you like to receive love most is?
I think physical touch and quality of time.
Yeah.
I think, like, for instance, your answer the other about the date nights, it's like that's our love language.
Yeah, I think you need a little bit of words of affirmation too. You like a little bit of like
I do
reinforcement.
You're right. I need positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the sensitivity part of me.
I think mine is.
Thank you for that, by the way.
What?
for pointing that out.
I think mine is quality time, physical touch, and receiving gifts. Like I like when you cook me dinner and when you like help me with something around the house. Like that stuff is like a love language to me. Or like when you bring me sushi.
Yeah.
The important things in life.
Right.
And I think the way I show love most is that's a difficult one. Probably acts of service and quality time. I think.
Quality time I think is the way you show the most. Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Love languages. Where can we find our own Tay? It's on Amazon.
$19.99.
This is an ad. Really $19.99.
Very cheap.
Okay, where can we find our own Tay? Seriously beginning to think there are 0 decent men left. Okay, so I'm going to bring it back to what you said earlier about how I was not always this version of myself.
Right.
Because Brittany Bennett said that to me. Do you remember when she was over the other day and she was going through this like horrendous heartbreak with this fuckboy who shall not be named until I choose to, so be wary, mister. Coming for you. And she was like, yeah, but like what if I can fix him? What if he's Tay and I'm Gabrielle? Like what? Or no. She said, what if he's Tay and right now I'm Tay's ex-wife, but what if I could be Gabrielle if I just stayed and waited and fixed him?
Right.
And I was like, dude, no, that's not the way to be thinking about it, because you were never going to be the version that your ex-wife wanted you to be until you went through all that shit with her. And then you became the version that you are now.
It's true.
And just like, with 3 or 4 exes ago, you were never going to be the version that they not necessarily wanted or didn't want, but you were never going to be the version you are now until you went through all the stuff that made you who you are now.
Right.
You know, so...
For instance, what I just said about you, if we had stayed in that at that first moment, you
I
needed
wouldn't
to
have
go,
been the good version for you.
Yeah, it's interesting. Relationships in general are real. It's hard to match because it's so many different people on the planet in so many different portions of their lives. For two people to actually nail it and be like, we're riding this wave together at the exact same time.
A lot of shit has to fall into fucking alignment.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a question of finding like the unicorn men on the planet, which, you know, you are in the top 5 percentile, I will say. But like, I think it's about finding men who have done the work and grown. So maybe your person isn't your person right now, but maybe they're your person in 2 years once they go through some shit, go to therapy, do some work on themselves, sing a fucking kumbaya, and then like decide to start dating again.
Right.
You know?
Well, I mean, I don't want to be an ageist, but well, you know, here I go.
You have to grow up.
You have to grow up.
Right.
And that's why you're so weary.
Cut to all my FMLers on like sugar daddy sites and like looking for men that have like gone gray.
that have already gone through the shit. You're so weary of hearing stories of like, yeah, we're high school sweethearts. Well, this is such a different time. Those are few and far between now. But I mean, imagine, look at yourself. Look at 21, 25, 28, 33. Well,
I'm 33.
Yeah. So like right there, you're finding you're also a very old 33.
But I also think the version of me now that is in a relationship with you is vastly different than the woman I was in my marriage. The woman I was with Javier. Like, I am a very different version of Gabrielle than those men knew. Are there qualities about me that are the same? Of course. Like, did I like drastically change?
No,
like,
but certain experiences shape you, and sometimes it's a very short period of time.
Yeah.
You grew up 20 years in the last 3,
right?
Or 5.
Yeah.
I think that well, first of all, I hear you talk about it a lot, and so I'm very honored that your fans like compare me to what kind of a pinnacle of, and it's a little like, yeah, I have come from, it took me a long time to get to a place where I'm comfortable even talking about me on a pedestal of some sort, you know? But I will say this, there are a lot of really, really fucking amazing people out there. Yeah. A lot. And
it's just about finding them.
It's just about finding them and not settling for someone who isn't.
Yes. That's a big one.
You gotta, just because they're good in the moment or they said a couple of nice things, that's great, but always be on the lookout for people to change and get the fuck out when you can, like because there is somebody out there that is unbelievable, right? And riding that one wave together. Yeah. There's like he's on the wave with you, or
waiting for you to get on the board.
Yeah, stand up and
I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think that regardless of the stuff you've been through and, some of your checkered past, you've always been a good-hearted person. You've never cheated on someone. No. You've never, like, morally, crossed weird lines. So when you say checkered past, you had an
elaborate.
Addiction. And, no, like, we've talked about this on the show before. You've had an addiction and, like,
I chose violence and anger a lot of times when I didn't need to. I never, not with a woman. Oh my God. No. But like, I was when I was younger, we'd go out and get into fights, and it was usually me doing it. Or at least, if not instigating it, definitely like getting in and finishing it. Yeah. And it was like, that there's just no room for that.
Yeah. But I think the point of it is that like, you had that you've always been a good person.
100%.
So it's like, it's about finding the people who are good people and that are then willing to continue to grow and do the work on themselves.
Yes.
And if not, you can find it on Amazon.
Right. Well, I am a good person. I'm not bragging. And that has to do with upbringing. I mean, my family life was wonderful. Right. And I attribute that, and I am a good person when it comes down to all of that, you know, really wholeheartedly. So
search for that first and foremost.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. What tips and tricks do you guys use to continue to grow in a relationship?
Tips and tricks.
To grow in a relationship.
Well, I think right off the bat, it helps that you and I are best friends.
Yeah. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Like you came in from shooting this 5, you know, and like, it's like, you know, we're constantly laughing.
Yeah. No, you can't just say that. You have to explain. So like, he was in the bathroom getting ready for the podcast because we're shooting these couple days at my home studio.
Right.
And I walked in and I even thought, I was like, am I going to catch him naked? And he had his shirt off with his jeans on and he was blow drying his hair. But like, he knew that I was here. He knew that we were shooting here. But I walked in and the face that you gave, like the shock and fear that went through your body. And you were like, I almost threw the blow dryer at you.
Just in sheer panic, like
But I think even like the more you can laugh, the more you can have fun and like have fun and connect with your partner, like going on date nights or taking trips or like just like spending intentional quality time together. And like really laughing and getting to know each other, and like that's important. Yeah.
And also I said something earlier that is basically this answer as well. You have to understand that they're going to change and grow, and you have to be willing to grow with them if this is what you want to be in. So there's, you know, the respect and communication, but really that.
Yeah. And like doing new activities together and like going to like a wine and painting class or, you know, like doing fun shit. Oh my God, I changed my answer. I know what my love language is.
What?
Take me on a trip.
Oh my God.
That's my love language.
Yeah, but that's gifts.
Right. Okay.
That's gifts.
But like, it's more fun to call it take me on a trip.
Right.
What's Gabrielle's love language? Put her ass on a plane.
Yeah. Send her anywhere. How
do you communicate difficult information to each other? We actually are pretty like not great at it, because what we do is we go, I have to talk to you in a really ominous voice. And then the other person spends 5 seconds going like, what the fuck? Okay, sit down. Tell me what's going on. Did someone die? Is the world ending? And then it's usually not that bad. So maybe our trick is to like oversell it and make people panic and think worst case scenario and then give them something less than. That's not a good tip. I'm kidding, obviously.
Yeah, but I think we are pretty good at it. I mean, whenever something comes up, we're pretty communicative.
I think it's just about being direct. Like sit down and be direct and say it in a way that you know the other person will hear it and try to think about their feelings in the situation and say it in a way that portrays that you are coming forward to discuss this because you honor and respect the other person.
Yeah, you have to really come at it not with your hands up.
Yeah.
I think that's the person who, if it's, I can't even come up with examples, but the person receiving the talking to or the discussion, it has to be open and willing to hear what the person has to say. But the person who has to say something has really got to come at it with a very kind of even keel, calm perspective, because then it's like a dog's.
Right.
It's like, if you're going to come at me, you know, and it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah. Don't be like a dog.
Yeah. Don't be like a dog.
Okay, great.
We're just marching
I think
through.
we actually are going to get through all of these.
Oh God.
We're not really going to get into this, but will you get married and have babies? I'll just let you
together?
Answer.
Oh my God.
Together? No. Individually? What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, will we get married and have babies? What am I going to predict the future?
No, I mean, like,
what am I supposed to get on my knee right now?
We have a house that we own together. We have 3 dog children. You have a child. Like, I don't think it's on the front of the to-do list, but I've been more open to like the idea of it and the thought of it. And yeah, I mean, like, of course we like talk about it. We've always talked about it, but
we
I
talk
don't
about
think it's
everything.
like
So it kind of, you know, I find it very strange when a couple, when a guy comes up to me and he's like, dude, I might propose, and she has no idea. And don't couples talk about those things? Like,
well, I mean, it depends. Not if they're couples that are like, we've been dating for a year. I mean, they might talk about like, yeah, I would like to get married one
I guess
day,
at that point, yeah, you're right.
But when people have been together for fucking 5+ years, then yeah, it's like,
right.
you know.
God, I wonder.
And we've also both been married and divorced.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I remember at the beginning, even at the beginning, once we actually started our solid relationship.
Yeah.
I think both of us were like,
never in a million years.
I don't think we need to get really married ever again.
Yeah.
But, you know, I
whatever. You ask me like once a week, like, okay, are you ready to get married?
Well, yeah, I play around. I know. I will say this. Can I say this right here publicly?
Maybe not.
Yeah, you're a real fucking pain in the ass to do really fucking anything for.
That's true.
It is. You're
That's
really
true.
tough. I even wanted to plan some type of like proposal,
people are like, well, like I'm going to surprise you and take you on a trip, and I'm like, okay, but did you make reservations? Where are we going? What time are we leaving? Like, yeah, it's really difficult.
Listen, bitch, one of these times I am going to fucking shock the world by surprising you.
Okay. Fine. I take that. I challenge you, and I await your what's the word I'm looking for? Attempt. I await your attempt.
Proposal.
I await your attempt. God, everyone's gonna be fucking DMing me after this goddamn episode. How do you balance each other's successes and failures?
Well, very easily. She's very successful. I'm an utter failure.
Shut the fuck up. We perfectly balance. You're so stupid.
Fucking perfect balance here.
Oh my God.
The water went down the wrong pipe. I know how we do that is all I want for you. I'm going to just give you my personal answer. All I want for you is the very best, and I want for you whatever you want. So like when I see you succeeding like you have in the past 2 years that nobody was expecting, including your mom.
Bitch, I was expecting, but
except
okay.
you were the only one that was like, I'm going for it. And that's why, you know, but everybody was like, okay, she wrote a book. Let's see what happens. But nobody was expecting to this, you know, leverage of what you've done. Look, is that to me, it makes me so happy to see that. And do I get a little bummed because I'm not doing it too? There are times, and we have open discussions about it, but I'm doing my thing and I'm feeling good. And, you know, prior to us buying the house, I was, you know, so like, I think there's the balance.
Yeah.
Right there is like, look, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're going to seesaw, and this is a long career and we have a lot of life ahead of us.
Yeah. And it's like what you talked about on the mini bonus episodes of the FML's Guide to Fucking Healing, which if you have not listened to, don't be sliding into my DMs about Gabrielle, how the fuck do I heal? Because I gave you a full fucking season on the Patreon subscription on how to do that, and it's gold. And on your episode, you were talking about like the wheel that we go on. And it's like sometimes you're at the top of the wheel and you're like fucking coasting and being like, woohoo, fuck yeah, I'm on top of the wheel. And then all of a sudden you're hanging on the edge for dear life and being like, fuck me, don't drop me. And then you're on the bottom and you're like, shit can't get any worse. If I drop now, like whatever. And then you start going back up to that up level. So it's like you just have to keep going and hold on, and it's always going to be constantly changing, and the successes are going to come and the failures are going to come, and it's about how you guys navigate that together.
So now you're adding another wheel to that wheel. So now, you know, so it's
the
like
hand gestures he's doing.
I know. I keep on thinking we're in a live studio audience.
No, the YouTube people can see you.
And you know, sometimes you're at the top of the wheel, I'm on the bottom. Yes, we have to individually hang on to the wheel because we know things, if we're not being idiots, we know the wheel's going to keep turning. So yeah, it's sometimes a little like tricky in a relationship, obviously.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. We're not in the fucking 50s anymore. It's not the 40s where it's like, I'm the man and I have to make more money than you, or I have to support everything. It's not like that. And I'm all for that. I'm like, I'm not subscribing to that old philosophy of, you know, and our parents still do. So it's
my mom doesn't.
Not your mom. Our parents, meaning our generationally,
right?
You know, and it's sometimes but imagine our kids, and that's all going to go away. Like there should be no reason a woman should not make as much or more. She's a fucking human being.
Right.
Like I don't. Thank God we don't live in those times anymore.
Yeah, I
mean, we're
can't even
starting
imagine.
to come out of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the balance is really just respecting the other person and it not being a competition.
Yeah, big time.
It's huge.
And being there for the failures, you know,
Yeah.
and like being able to support your partner through that, especially in the type of career that you and I are in, you know, those come frequently.
Yeah, they do. You know, I just watched this about an hour before I came here. It was Robert De Niro saying it was on TikTok or something, and they were sitting around the round table and all these big time actors were sitting there and they were talking to him about, you know, longevity in the career. And he's like, listen, forget the career, life.
Yeah.
You have to stay calm. When you're at the top, stay calm.
Yeah.
Don't be like, rah, and, you know, live frivolously and spending money and just not giving a fuck about life.
Yeah.
Because of that wheel.
Right.
It's going to come around. He's like, just stay calm, be chill. Don't like overexpend, because here's the thing, and this is our business. You're indispensable. There's another person that's just as good.
Yeah.
And they'll move right along. So like, you got to just be humble, and I think stay calm.
Yeah, it all comes back to communication and be a good fucking person.
Right.
It's really that simple. I don't know why it's so hard for so many.
Yeah. And thank you, Mr. De Niro.
All right. How do you navigate each other's triggers when they seem unavoidable? I can't talk today. Unavoidable.
Well, first of all, I have acknowledged all of your triggers, and they're always with me, so I know, because you have to do that.
Yeah.
This is not a fucking one life house, you know. You and I are sharing a life here.
Yeah.
So I have to know all your ins and outs and all the triggers. So I acknowledge them. Step one. Step two is, whenever we're approaching those things, walk delicately.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
Yeah. and I think, you know, communicating when triggers come up, you know, and not like, it's one thing if like we're approaching a trigger and you in your head, you're like, I'm approaching a trigger. Okay. Like, let's like be mindful and and I'm in my brain being like, oh God, we're approaching a trigger. Is this something going to happen? Is something going to go bad? Is this going to be horrible? But if we talk about it and we're like, hey, we're approaching that trigger.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do to make sure you're fine. Do you need anything else from me? And I'm like, oh no, actually that's great. Thank you for like voicing that. 'Cause now I'm not like waiting on pins and needles for the second shoe to drop.
Right.
So again, communication.
God, isn't it kind of, we should write a fucking book and just
God,
say,
don't say that.
Communicate. It should just be called communicate.
And like every page just says communicate.
yeah. Paragraph form. You just communicate period. Communicate ellipses. Communicate question
Okay,
mark.
we got it.
Fuck.
Tamar.
It's really simple.
It really is. All right. We've heard about red flags, but can we hear about some green flags to look for? That's kind of fun.
What are the...
Like, so what, when...
On mine?
In anything. Like, so when you start dating someone, or like when you started dating me, what were you like, oh, this is a good sign? Because red flags are like, ooh, let's pump the brakes, let's reverse. I was probably a fucking carnival full of red flags when you met me. I was like, hi, I'm heartbroken. Hi, I'm divorced. Hi, I'm not over my ex.
Yeah, that was
all of it.
That flag was bright red and on fire.
And you said, chariots of fire, ride forward.
Yeah, well, I wanted to say like an idiot.
Well,
but
okay, so
a
I
glutton
think
for punishment.
I think green flags are someone who.
Oh, I got them right here.
Oh, okay, go.
Yeah, do you have?
Excuse me. No,
For
please
me,
start us off.
your ambition, like that was such a green flag. Like I couldn't take my eyes off it. You know, that part of your spirit and your personality. You're just so ambitious. You're not going to stop. It's not going to stop no matter what. That's the big one. And I mean, I don't want to say
like qualities. So let's talk
Okay, so
about,
is that-
let's back
yeah.
up from like qualities. Well, no, because that was going to be my answer too. But now that I'm thinking about it more. So like things that people would do, I guess, would be more categorized as green flags. Because there's like a list of qualities that you look for in a person. And that's like dependent on each person. Green flags, like the way he treats his mother, I would say is a green flag. When you and I went on our first date, well, that like wasn't a date, but was a date, but wasn't a date. You walked me to the car, opened my door, and like, you know, that's a green flag, I would say. Like things that are like, okay, this person's been raised well. Okay, this person like cares about
your relationship
other
with
people.
your mom is a big one for me.
Yeah.
Your relationship with your mom, I think, is a big green flag. You have a deep sense of family.
How they talk about their exes, I think, is a big one.
Yeah.
Because like if you're sitting there and trashing your ex,
right,
that's a problem. I mean, unless like unless you're me and writing a book
your
about
ex
it.
is listening to this right now,
Right.
going like, yeah, well,
Yeah, bitch.
run that one by me again.
Right. I mean, if unless they were a terrible
This is a green
sociopath.
flag. Right.
Yeah.
This is a green flag for me that you have been divorced from being cheated on. I never thought about that until sitting in this chair.
Why is that?
Because I have a big fucking problem with infidelity. And for some reason, maybe back in the, like I said, I've never thought about this until right now.
Okay.
Maybe back in the day, I was like, well, now she'll never cheat on me. You know, maybe when we started, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like, that's probably a green flag.
Interesting.
You know?
I would say it's a green flag that you've never cheated on someone. That's
good.
a green flag.
Right.
And I think little things that you pick up on, like if the conversations that you have aren't superficial and material, and they're deeper and they want to know things about you, you know, like little things like that.
Well, I mean, so that's like getting into quality zone,
Right.
because that's what I was saying. Like also the fact that you're very caring, and this is a big green flag. When I talk, you listen. Well, I mean, now of course we're so deep in a relate, but I'm talking about beginning parts of a relationship. Yeah, you would always be very
attentive
and like wanting to talk about it, and. A big green flag, obviously, maybe this is something else, is that well, it's a quality, but you're you're funny.
Yeah. No, but yeah, that's qualities.
Yeah, those are qualities. Yeah.
It's not technically a flag. But
Well,
I like those
anytime I
quality
made a
lists.
joke, you would laugh.
Right.
Okay, so that's not a quality. That's a
Okay.
green flag because I made the same joke with, Sally, and she wouldn't laugh.
Fuck Sally.
Fuck Sally.
Fuck
I don't
that
even
bitch.
know who Sally is.
All right, we are nearing the end. There are 3 more.
Okay.
3 to go. Final 3. Aww.
Uh-oh.
When did Tay know that you were the one?
Well, definitely not when I met you. I was engaged, and you were with your boyfriend. Although I did know you were going to be in my life at some point.
We definitely had like a soul connection.
Yeah, we did. It was really, I don't know, it was just really vibrant.
Yeah.
You and I were very, but no, I think... Can you repeat it? When do I think I knew you were the one?
Yes.
Well, that night at Bijou, which was that first
date that wasn't a date.
That wasn't a date. I fell in love with you.
No.
Yes, I did.
No.
I told you I did when you...
No, you were like, I knew I wanted to date you and like have a relationship with you.
Yeah, but I mean, remember how I told you that if I don't see a future, I don't go on a second date?
That doesn't mean you fell in love.
So you can't believe you don't believe in love at first sight?
Well, that's not love at first sight.
I know, which is even going to prove my point more.
Well, I don't know. I've never experienced it.
Okay.
I'm not saying I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I stand by the fact that night I fell in love with you.
Really?
Yeah, it grew, but it grew from there. But I was like, But was that the night I knew you were the one?
No.
No. I didn't know you were the one until you got back from your last trip.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, no, but that's like...
No, that's the answer. And I'll tell you why. Because you never allowed me to think that. You never allowed me to think that. Even though when we were like, boom, remember how all those times we would lay in bed and I would just, something was wrong.
Yeah.
It's because you weren't allowing me to like go there. So until that night where that night that you got back, that was it. Then I was like,
oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
You never knew that?
No.
I wonder if I never knew that.
Until right this second sitting in this chair.
No, I think I knew. I knew that was the night.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you too.
Are there still new triggers that appear? Oh, I have a good answer for this. So we've talked openly about how like our co-parenting situation and that whole dynamic is like pretty fucking great for comparatively like what other people deal with. And, you know, like I have a relationship with your ex-wife. We're all fucking, you know, happy-go-lucky most of the time. And the other night we were standing in the kitchen and I spilled something on this jumper that I'm wearing right now because we all know from my Instagram I never take these off. And I was so fucking angry that I had spilled something on this, and it was literally the day I got it and put it on. I was so pissed off that I had to take it off and wash it. And I'm like, how do I get this fucking stain out? And you go, you know who's really good at like doing that, who you should call? My ex-wife. And I fucking looked at you and daggers came out of my eyes and I was like, you couldn't have just said her fucking name, Tay?
Yeah.
Why do you have to call it? Like, I know who she is in your life. And it triggered me really bad. Yeah. And I think it was the trigger on top of how pissed off I was about getting something on my fucking brand new jumper, that I like wouldn't let it die right away. And you were like, shit, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. Like, I should have just said her name. And I was like, yeah. And you were like, okay, we get it. You're upset. Thank you. I've like heard the trigger. Noted.
Noted.
But like, yeah, of course new things randomly come up. Like, I think being human is walking through a fucking like minefield of triggers and just trying not to like blow up at any given time in our lives.
Well, didn't I say, I think one of us said earlier on in this hour, we're always changing.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to, like, as we get older, let's take health completely off of the table. And it's like, we're going to live healthy until we're 95 and then we're going to die peacefully. Like, we're still going to change and our minds are going to change and our opinions are going to change. So yeah, the second you know that that's going to happen, obviously there's going to be new triggers. So if you know that going into life, well, then just fucking communicate. There's that word again. Like, just talk about them as soon as they come up because you know that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
And I would say, looking back on that, obviously it was such a blip on the radar. Like, it was like overdone with gone very quickly. But what I could have done better in that situation is not react out of the emotion I was feeling and just like taking a breath and like used my words.
Well, isn't that the ultimate lesson?
Well, yeah. Hindsight, you know.
You know, who fucking,
we'd
that's
all be
the
fucking
one,
perfect at that point.
There'd be no wars.
Right. Accurate. All right, final question. How do you guys proceed after a big fight? Therapy. Like, literally, if we have a big blow up fight, we call our therapist and schedule something.
Yeah. It's like everybody I think everybody's like, oh my God, I can just so imagine they get into a big blowout fight and then slam the doors and then just rip the clothes off. And
I don't think anyone imagines that with us, but okay.
was I saying that out loud? Yeah, it's immediate therapy. And I will say that usually for you and me, we don't have a quick turnaround time. It's not like an immediate, like, okay, let's hug it out and I love you. We always hold on to a little bit.
We'll usually discuss it and like realize that we should take a breath and not be discussing it at that moment. And then you'll be like, okay, but let's hug anyways because I love you and we'll deal with it like in a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we like revisit it once like everybody's emotions are kind of chilled a little bit. But then if it's a big blowout fight, we will always schedule a session with our therapist.
Yeah. And
just to talk through it and have a third party's opinion and like viewpoint.
But let's also like clarify what a big blowout fight is, because I'll say this here and now. First of all, you and I don't really bicker, or we don't really get into too many fights.
Yeah.
We'll have a couple disagreements here and there, and rarely.
And they're mild.
And they're very mild.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while, we'll have something where it's like, oh shit, that was serious.
Yeah.
Like in Hawaii, that was like, oh damn, this is pretty serious.
Yeah.
But blowout fight is, that was pretty.
But it big. Always usually, involves something else.
Yeah.
And it always is rectified when we can sit down and talk to Arna about it.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Thank God for those.
Yeah.
Those, what are not blowout fights, but thank God for the little arguments and the little disagreements, and because that only perpetuates us to communicate more. Up there, that stupid word is again. And then not only that, it's like a volcano.
Yeah.
If it doesn't just release little bits here and there, it's going to build.
Yeah.
So you don't want that to happen. And then you do have the blowout fight.
Yes.
Like for instance, if it was related to like me getting all loud and obnoxious if I drank, if we've communicated about it prior to the night going in, which we do most often, then usually the fight will be a little less if there is.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but I think, again, communication is a huge thing.
The book, Communication.
Yeah.
Period. Ellipses. Question mark. Communication. Yeah. Tayshawn.
Yeah.
I have thoroughly enjoyed having you co-host this episode with me, and I am so excited that you will now be doing the questions episodes with me.
Yeah. It's
Yay.
A lot of fun. I really enjoy I really enjoy coming and talking with you.
I love you
even
so
though
much.
we do it all the time, but
I know, but I like talking to you when other people get to be a part of it, and I know from my DMs getting flooded that everybody fucking loves having you on. So
yay! It's a little precursor for me when I get onto the big the talk show circuit.
Oh, here
promoting a
we
big
go.
film, no big deal.
Here we go. And can you tell everyone where they can come and stalk you?
Yeah, come and check me out at Taymor Ghazi. That's my Instagram handle.
Yay.
Yay.
I love you.
Love you too, babe.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
As always. Bye.
I hope you guys enjoyed this incredible questions episode. I feel like we covered everything from like the light-hearted fun sex stuff to the very deep relationship advice stuff. Thank you for all of your questions, and I am really excited to continue doing these episodes with Tay. It makes my heart happy, and it makes my heart happy that you guys love hearing us chat together. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed so you never miss an episode. Keep up with us on Instagram at FML Talk Podcast. If you need more FML content, there are 5 entire seasons of mini bonus episodes that you can binge at your leisure on patreon.com/FML Talk. If you want to watch all of these episodes live in studio, you can check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/FML Talk. And as always, have a self-love cocktail on me. Cheers.